Right then, I enjoyed my lift adventure in Sheffield so much, I went back to Sheffield for another lift adventure. And once again, I'm being Mr. Cheapskate, and I'm not paying out for hotels. So, where am I going to sleep? Well, last time I bought my tent, and it was really bulky carrying that tent around Sheffield, so this time I left it at home, which means, where am I going to sleep? Well, watch a video and find out. So then, along to Sheffield I go, but I didn't go the direct way on a fast train because, nah, that's boring. Instead, I went a really fun route to Sheffield, and I went on the awesome Networker Express. Now, I haven't been on Networker Express for quite a while now, and I really wanted to hear the awesome old-style variable frequency when on kinetic mode, when the train slows down and it generates electricity back off of the motor. Because it actually does that using the old-style variable frequency, and it makes an awesome sound. Because on the 465s, the regular Networkers, half of them have had their variable frequency replaced with Hitachi Javelin variable frequency, which sounds good on the Javelin, but it's rather rubbish on the Networker. The other half of them have had their old-style variable frequency turned off when on kinetic mode. And on the 365s, there are still some left with the variable frequency used on kinetic mode. So then on the Network Express I went on this 8-car train to 4 motor carriages, only one of them used the old style variable frequency on kinetic mode. It took me a while to find it. Then after that, it kept cutting out. Not many of them have kinetic mode left, and the few that do have a lot of problems on it, and it regularly cuts out when the train slows down. But luckily I did manage to film it. It was only once to do it the whole way without cutting out. So just take a listen to this awesome sound. Now, into Peterborough I go, and let's find somewhere to sleep for the night. So, where am I going to sleep? Well, I want to sleep in a motor room. Because you think about it, no one will know I'm up there. It's like the perfect spot to sleep. So, let's see if we can find a motor room. Well, in Peterborough, there's quite a few car parks. They're all quite low rise, and they're all sort of part of the shopping centre. Yeah, very secure, and they were shutting the car parks down for a night, because it's now about 10 o'clock at night now. Yeah, they're shutting a place down. No chance of going in those ones, and the motor rooms were locked, and lifts there were just quite crap, and I didn't even bother to film them. So along we go and take a look around Peterborough, and the rest of Peterborough is rather crap. It's a bit like Canterbury, rather low rise, bit touristy and rather boring. So heading out of Peterborough into the outskirts of the town, there are actually some tower blocks, and I've got into these tower blocks and into the lift. Lift's not very interesting, I didn't even bother to film it because they were so boring, and up to the top floor, and I was not able to get into the motor room. Very disappointing. So Peterborough is pretty shit. So out of Peterborough I go, and onto a 170 Turbo Star, and along to Leicester, the home of Evans lifts. Have any of the old Evans lifts survived? Well, let's take a look. So going around Leicester, let's see if there's any motor rooms I can get into, and I'm starting to get a bit worried now, because it's now 11 o'clock at night, and I really need to find somewhere to sleep. So along we go to the first car park. The lifts here have been modernised. I think they were probably Evans lifts originally. And let's go up to the motor room, and I can't get in it. Grr. So then, let's now surf the lift.
This lift is out of service. Ground floor, doors closing, going down. This lift is out of service. the doors. Please mind the doors. Doors closing. This lift is out of service.
And now, there is another place I could sleep which would be perfectly safe. Because you see, I don't just want to sleep in a stairwell of a car park. Because I just don't feel safe. Someone could attack me in the night. I know a lot of people do just sleep rough in stairwells, but I just don't feel safe. I mean, I've got a big camera on me. I've got quite a few things on me, and I really do not want to be robbed. But there is another place I could sleep, which is actually in the lift itself. Because the lift's currently on inspection. It's just above the floor. I can reach the rollers of the outer door to open it up again. Out, inner door I've left open, and it's on inspection, so it's not going to shut. I could actually sleep in the lift. But the problem with that is this lift's in a public car park. It's a bit filthy. I don't want to touch the floor of this lift. People have weed in it. So let's go looking around Leicester and let's see if there's any other car parks. And along I go to this shopping centre. And I wasn't able to get into the shopping centre because it's far too late now. It's 11 o'clock at night. The shopping centre's long since shut. But there's this weird little lift going up to this car park above the shopping centre. It's a really weird lift. It's actually abandoned, sadly. There's actually a swing door lift with no inner doors. It looks really awesome. I don't know what sort of lift this is. I'm guessing it's an Evans lift. It says Leicester. And if we take a look inside the lift, it looks really old and awesome. This is in fact the lowest floor, and the lift's actually crashed into the buffer. So yeah, this lift's definitely abandoned, which is a real shame because I really wanted to ride this awesome lift. And now let me go to some tower blocks in Leicester, and every single tower block I went to 3 of them, and every single one of them has someone at reception. I don't believe this. It is now midnight and they've still got someone at reception checking who's allowed to go in. There's no way I can get into any of these tower blocks. I don't believe this. I just cannot get into the tower blocks. It's crazy. They're so secure. So then I long go to the next car park, which has an old Evans lift. It's been modernised a bit, which is disappointing, but it's still really awesome to see a nice old Evans lift, and I can't get into the motorroom. Very disappointing. So then let's now surf the lift.
Going down. Doors closing. Going down.
Now, it's now 1 o'clock in the morning, and I get on the very last train departing Leicester station. And this train's a 222 Voyager, and along I go to Nottingham. And I've been wanting to go to Nottingham for ages. And sadly, now I finally get to Nottingham. I didn't really enjoy it because I was just so desperate to find somewhere to sleep. So, leaving Nottingham station, it's middle of the night. The only people about are drunks. Where can I sleep? Well, along I go to the bus station and car park, which has some awesome old 60s Otises, still with original relay logic, and I actually have selector tape on top of them. So, yep, logic is original, and the bun's been replaced, but everything else is completely original, and it has awesome old-fashioned 2-speed levelling. And sometimes on old Otises, the 2-speed levelling can go really loud on levelling speed, and this one sounded particularly loud. And now let's serve it! now let's take a look at a motorroom, and no chance of getting in that motorroom. So nope, I can't sleep in this motorroom. I desperately need to find a motorroom to sleep in now, because it's now 2 o'clock in the morning. I desperately need somewhere to sleep. So along I go to the next car park, and I went in this car park and it all seemed really clean. It's deserted, there's no cameras about, middle of the night. No people sleeping in the stairwells of this car park, and it's so clean, which means it must be being patrolled. Yeah, I don't really want to hang around if it's being patrolled. I mean, it's creepily empty here, no one about whatsoever, and once again I couldn't get into the motorroom. There's something about this place that's creeping me out, so I went out of this car park and along to the next car park, which is a 24-hour car park with security in. The lift here is an Otis lift, which had its in and outer doors disattached, so lift's jammed up, and not much really to see here, security about, so I'm not hanging around this car park. So along I go to the next car park, and the next car park actually has some Keithley Schindler lifts, which are abandoned. Well, I assume they're abandoned, not just switched off for a night, because they were so rusty. So then, going up the stairs, and this car park's been blocked off, yet you can't get to the upper floors, it's completely bricked up. The lift shaft does actually go higher, so on top of the lift I go, and it's clearly a Keithley Schindler with a positioning system on the side, which is really awesome to see, intelligent levelling. And can I make this lift move from on top of the lift? Nope, this lift does not move. It's been switched off. I think this is abandoned. So then, where do I sleep for the night? I'm really desperate to get to sleep now. It's now 3 o'clock in the morning. I haven't slept. I am getting so stressed. So what about actually sleeping inside this lift car since it's abandoned? Well, I tried to open up the inner doors and they're jammed. They don't open. And the other lift's actually right up the top of the shaft, so no chance of getting up there. So then, where do I sleep? I mean, I could just sleep in the stairwell, but I don't want to. I'm really scared of being attacked in the night. So where do I sleep? Well, isn't it obvious? It's staring me right in the face. I know where I can sleep. I won't get disturbed at all because I can sleep in the lift pit. So down to the lift pit I go. I don't believe it. It's completely safe down there. The lift's not going anywhere. And also I put on inspection, emergency stop and pit stop, so there's no way the lift's moving. No, I'm down there. It's the perfect spot. I mean, no one would suspect a thing. A bit dusty down there, but it's not actually filthy dirty. So I actually slept in the lift pit. Now the only thing scary about lift pits I find is actually getting the doors open to get back out again. This one, and actually open doors, there's actually a bit of plastic tubing left in the pit which I actually use to unlatch the doors, so I can get out of here, which is good. And it's like a really good spot. Who would suspect I'm sleeping in the lift pit? No one would know. Well, so I thought, because at this point I was so exhausted I actually went pretty much straight off to sleep in the lift pit, and I got woken up because I heard voices. The security people had arrived and they were clearing out all of the drunks and homeless people sleeping in the staircase of this car park. And I could hear them with going around clearing everyone out the car park, making a lot of noise, because these car parks are very regularly patrolled. And it was at this point they noticed the shaft lights were on. I don't believe it. But if I had those shaft lights off, no one would know I was in the pit. Because I had the shaft lights on, they must have spotted the lights one through the lift doors, and I could hear them talking about it. And I heard them actually making a phone call. I don't know who they were making a phone call to. It might have been the police. So at that point I quickly made a getaway. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning, so yeah, I only slept for an hour, not much sleep at all. It was at this point, well, I didn't know what to do. There was nowhere else for me to sleep. I'm exhausted. It was not good. And well, trains start up at 5 o'clock in the morning, so I went to a train station, got on a train and had a sleep on the train. And along I go to Wakefield, where I met up with Jordan, and along we go along to Sheffield. And it's now daytime, and luckily I did manage to get a bit of sleep, and luckily I forced myself to be wide awake for the epic lift adventure. So then, let's start the lift adventure off by going to a glass lift in the middle of Sheffield. Now this is a very public lift. Everyone can see this. But this is like the middle of Sheffield, public place, everyone about, little glass ego this, and me and Jordan went on top of it. That was so crazily risky.
Oh my gosh. We've got to go. I wish I'd get in the car. Are you actually filming this? Spotify on it?
And now, after this, we went up to university and met up with Harry. So then we went all around Sheffield, loads of epic lifts, and to see this lift adventure in Sheffield, click the link in the description.